Greetings and welcome to another Mod of the Month video for the best Morrowind mods released each month. As always, I'm your host, Dark Elf Guy, and yes, we're still playing catch up. Today we have the top 3 best mods of July as decided by you guys in our online poll. And as usual, you can find a link to our new online poll for the best mods of August down in the video description below. And in order to try and speed things up a bit and, get back on schedule, we're only actually going to be taking votes for August for about 1 week before, making the next video. We just really need to, prioritize catching up here. I mean, we're doing July in December for Pete's sake. It's a bit embarrassing, honestly. But anyway, you'll find the download links for all the mods shown down in the video description as well. So let's get things started with our mod of the month, which for July 2016 was our mod series, Better Armor by Melchior Dahrk and the Resdayn Revival Team. Now, this one does a couple of things. First and foremost, it adds a new set of armor to the game called Silt Strider Armor, which you can, sort of see here. The design of this armor is quite obviously based off of the shells of Silt Striders, making it a fairly lore-friendly armor set on par with, chitin armor, or, other ashlander and Dunmer armor and clothing styles. And, what's especially noticeable is the helm here, which is, kind of like a miniature Silt Strider on your face, with little Silt Strider arms sticking out, which is, definitely an interesting look. And you also notice that the chest piece here is unique depending on the ashlander tribe that you're visiting. There's a different symbol carved into the chest area for each of the 4 Vardenfell-based ashlander tribes, and as you can see, it's basically the same symbol that's, seen on the ashlander banners around each camp. And here you can see the armor at another ashlander camp, and you'll notice the symbols on the chest are likewise a bit different. I also forgot to point out this earlier, but this mod also adds ashlander guards to each camp that wears this custom Silt Strider armor. There's actually pieces of the Silt Strider armor that are just hidden around each camp, making for a complete set that you can get for free, assuming you keep your eyes open. Otherwise, you could of course just kill the guards and take their armor, though that's a rather violent approach. Now, if you're wondering why this mod looks, kind of familiar, it's because it's a remake of Melchior's original Silt Strider Armor mod that we showcased a long time ago, only obviously the textures and models have been improved and updated in this version. Either way, this is a beautiful and cool looking armor set with a lot of detail to it that blends in pretty well with Morrowind's aesthetics, and particularly the style of ashlanders, making for a completely vanilla and lore-friendly sort of style of new armor for you to use as you so desire, and the high quality and lore friendliness is one of the main reasons why this is our mod of the month for July 2016. And next up we have our second choice for the mod of the month, Immersive Seyda Neen by Lord 98. And this mod adds a bunch of clutter to Seyda Neen to help make it feel a bit more, real, like a living, breathing town. So no longer are the streets of Seyda Neen bare of the detritus of daily life. Now you'll find crates, barrels, benches, baskets, and more lining the roadways or off to the side in small corners and alleys between buildings. And you also find some new railings and ladders added into the trade house platform here, and also new little platforms like the one overlooking the bridge with notes and loose papers covering it. And the area around the shack district has especially seen a lot of new detailing, including dozens of mushrooms, more bits of grass and the like to make it feel a bit more, like a swamp. And there's also more crates and barrels, a skiff equipped with fishing gear that's used by the locals, small tables filled with various knickknacks and small items like bottles, and other various stuff like that. And one of the biggest and most visible changes though is the bridge that connects the central part of Seyda Neen to the outskirts. Now you'll find a lower bridge which is used for storage and as an unloading platform for small boats and skiffs carrying supplies. There's a lot of nice clutter right here, and you'll also notice that a lot of the buildings are covered in moss and the like to give them, a bit more character. And another great little addition here is a small well that can be used by the locals to, draw water. And there's even a ton of bottles already here for the purpose of, carrying water around. This is also just a really nice viewpoint to overlook the city from as well. Finally, there's been an overhaul made to the Silt Strider's port, as well as, streetlights along the roads to make it a bit easier to travel at night. You also find a ton of other small details, including a new house that you can, take as your own, should you find the key, which is hidden somewhere in Seyda Neen, or just break in that provides you with a nice little starter home. And overall, this is a very lightweight and lore-friendly addition to Seyda Neen that doesn't, do too much, but makes Seyda Neen look a lot better, hence why it's our number 2 pick for the mod of the month. And rounding things out, we have our third pick for the mod of the month, and this time around we have Ethereum Forging by GR1911. And this mod adds a new Ethereum forge to one of the Dwemer ruins around Vardenfell. That's guarded by a sort of mini-boss, really. An Ethereum Centurion that'll try and, stop you from accessing the forge by using fireballs and, whatnot. It's not a terribly difficult fight, probably about fine for those above level 8 through 10, I'd say. Either way, once you defeat the Centurion, you'll get your first Ethereum Crystal. And you can now find Ethereum Crystals in glass, diamond, and ebony ore veins throughout Vardenfell. You can use these crystals when combined with Dwemer weapons and armor to create new Ethereum weapons, armor, and even some clothing and miscellaneous items. There's something like 20 or 30 new Ethereum items here that you can forge, which is, quite a lot. And anyway, you can see the full Ethereum armor set here. It's a really cool looking heavy armor that's, sort of similar to the Dwemer art style found in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim in particular. You also notice a lot of those blue crystals built into the design of the armor. That adds an interesting sort of glow effect to the armor set here. And likewise, you can also see some of the new weapons here, including a longsword, battle axe, warhammer, and there's also a ton of other weapons that you can create, such as, long spears and other sorts of different styles of weapons. And July was apparently a pretty good month for armor mods, between, this and the RR mod series, Better Armor mod. And it's certainly a great addition to your game if you're a fan of heavy armors in particular. And, given the quality of the armor and the pretty balanced integration into the game, it's no wonder why this is our third pick for the Mod of the Month. And anyway, that wraps up this episode of the Mod of the Month. We'll be back in just a little over a week, I'd say, with the next episode. And eventually, I swear, we'll actually get to the December mods at some point. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.